Hi, my name is Tyvis Powell, former Ohio State Buckeye and national champion DB. Welcome to the Buckeye Cast. These guys was born and bred in the Buckeye State, and they like to talk Buckeye football and drink bourbon. Subscribe to the show. Now pour up a drink and pull up a stool. Here's your host, Joe Warwick. Get him, Joe.
All right, Tyvis, we appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Welcome into your TBC Weekly. Right now, it is just me. So, hey, that might be better for everybody, right? Jeff and Shawn are no shows thus far, but, par for the course here. Who knows what's going to happen when it comes to a Sunday night. Anyway, so please drop your questions and comments in the chat. We are going to talk the Buckeye victory, obviously the shutout win over WMU, and we're also going to talk about the cheaters. We're going to talk about the Domers, two teams that had really bad Saturdays, unlike the Buckeyes, of course. So, hey, if you want to support the show, I would greatly appreciate that. All you have to do is do a little shopping on thebuckeyecast.com. Share the show with a friend, subscribe, leave a comment, like, all that stuff helps. So we are continuing to gain subscribers daily. So this thing is not shutting down. It's not coming to an end. It's not slowing down. That's for sure. So we don't stop, even though the co-hosts don't show up half the time. What are you supposed to do? I would hire more help if I could hire some help, but this is where we're at, folks. So, let's see. I'm trying to think of a good question for the chat tonight. I was looking at the games upcoming this weekend. How about Alabama's Wisconsin? Who do you have? Alabama's favored by 15. Over under of 51.5. Who you got? You taking Bama with the points? Or you taking Bama to cover, or whiskey with the points? So let's get into it. Let's do a little recap of the Buckeye game. It was a bloodbath. Obviously, we just rolled right through these guys. This is exactly what I was expecting in week one. But nobody's perfect. No team is perfect. Although I feel this team is very close right now. But long ways to go. It's only week two. There's a lot we haven't seen yet. There's a lot of teams that maybe are still growing and getting better. I think of I watched the Alabama game earlier today. That was hard to watch. A lot of turnovers, a lot of penalties. Two mediocre quarterbacks that can't throw the ball. They can run, and they're tough, but they cannot throw the ball. Alabama. So, hold on. Let me add you in. Shawn is with us now. Your camera's on, by the way, and a lovely view of your ceiling.
First of all, cheers, boys. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Camera. There we go.
There you go. All right. So, I was just getting warmed up on some of the games I had to watch today.
Is Jeff in?
No, of course not. I watched that Bama game today. That was horrific. You talk about two mediocre quarterbacks that just run the ball and just penalties. Like I have never seen so many pass interference penalties and then targeting. Oh my God, these first 2 weeks of college football is nothing but littered with targeting penalties and shit. It's like, what the fudge? So yeah, we're going to talk the Buckeye game first, and then we'll get into the Cheaters and their big loss, and we'll talk about the Domers too, because as much as you might not want to hear it, they're still in the playoffs. So, although losing
They're
to
going to
a
get a
Northern,
home. They're getting a home game in the playoffs, people. You heard it here.
yeah, losing to a Northern Illinois does not help their resume at all, but um, their schedule's pretty weak. I think they'll probably beat USC at the end of the year, and
I don't know.
with
My
one, or
stock's rising on
they'll even get in with
USC.
2 losses.
My stock's rising on USC.
Oh, me too. I'm just saying. I think they'll get their stuff together and be in better shape by the end of the season. Notre Dame will.
And yeah, 2 losses for sure they're in. 3, probably not, but
No,
2.
no.
And, basically they got 2 games left on their schedule. They have to win one of them, and they're in. And by 2, it's not really 2 because that's Florida State and USC.
Hmm.
And Florida State, well, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if Florida State's going to come out of this season with less than 2 losses. It's not looking good so far.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I thought Florida State was going to be halfway decent, but it doesn't look like it. Not from here.
Nope.
Not good, Bob.
No. And Honda McCord took down Georgia Tech. So what's that say about Georgia Tech? And that
No,
loss by Florida State.
what it says is Ohio State's a bunch of dumbasses, and we got rid of the best quarterback ever. I'm
Yeah.
happy for McCord and good for him. It wasn't going to work out here, bro. And,
Nope.
and and I don't hate on you for it. I'm actually glad. I don't want you to go somewhere and suck. Go somewhere that's more fitting. ACC ball, that's still, you know, kind of football. I mean, good.
Yeah, it is kind of football. Kyle McCord now plus 7,500 for the Heisman. Right there. Throw $1 on it, you get 75.
Get your money in.
But yeah. All right. I'll keep an eye out here, see if Jeff joins.
I think someone just text. Jeff just text.
1 minute,
1 minute.
allegedly. Yeah. The 1 minute warning. So yeah. So question for the chat, Shawn, you might have missed it, was this Alabama game coming up this weekend. Alabama is at Whiskey going up to Madtown. The spread right now is 15, over under a 51.5. So the question for the chat is, who you got with the points? So we'll digest those in a little bit, and we'll give you our opinions too. But let's talk about this Western Michigan game. Never really was a game, especially after they missed that field goal. You knew things didn't look good at all. I got a good one for you. You love this one. This is one of the greatest hits. So let's do the drive chart. All right, you're gonna love this. There's a lot of repetition in here. 3 plays punt. This is just for Western Michigan only. 11 plays missed field goal. 3 plays punt. 3 plays punt. 3 plays punt. 3 plays punt. 7 plays punt. Sorry, I got into it there. 1 play end of half. 3 plays punt to bring out the second half. 3 plays punt. 3 plays punt. 3 plays punt. 3 plays punt end of game. Did you notice any kind of pattern there?
No, could you run through that again?
Sure. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
I know.
Yeah. No, I mean, no. The defense was lights out. I mean, frankly, when I don't know, I mean, going to this game, I'm like, these guys were leading Wisconsin, which makes your chat question really intriguing right now. My mind's kind of everywhere on that Whiskey Bama game because Western gave Wisconsin all they wanted and were leading
Mm-hmm.
in the fourth quarter at
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin. And I knew that was a huge game for Western. I feel like Western goes into like a game like that. It's like, guys, we pour it all out right fucking here. We have a chance against these guys. And yeah, then Ohio State's kind of gonna smoke us. Like that's just too big of a fish to fry there. And I do. I think they spent everything they had. And then when they're like the best player on their team's their center, and when he went down like the first drive, it's like you're done. It's it's
Yeah.
it's over.
That's never a good time for that.
Yeah, I mean, he's like all MAC. I think for a year or two, the best center, second best center,
Mm-hmm.
um, and these MAC schools got talented dudes. What they don't have is depth, and so
No.
you go from the first or second best center in the MAC, which is commendable, to the 18th best center in the fucking MAC, or
If that. Yeah.
right.
Right. All right. We got Jeff on board. Jeff, how's it going?
Boys, good evening. How you doing? Sorry I'm late.
Good.
So
All right.
Jeff,
Yeah. So we got a question for the chat, Jeff, that I dropped on them, and you can mull this over the next hour.
All right.
So the question for the chat is, who you got this coming weekend? Bama at Wisconsin. Right now the spread is 15. Over under is 51.5. So
Hmm.
that is the question for the chat. So I watched the Bama USF game
Yeah.
today, and I needed a couple of Alka Seltzers after that. That was hard to watch. That's bad ball, man. Two quarterbacks that can't throw the ball for shit, but they can run the shit out of it, and a lot of penalties, 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 penalties. So much laundry on the field.
Sloppy. Yeah.
It was horrific, and you know the old saying: you mess with the bowls, you get all of the horns. And
horns
you
up,
know,
horns up.
eh, University of Tampa was not messing around. I just
Right.
realized that they have a Grammatica kicker.
Oh no. Oh no.
Automatic. He was not Automatica though. He came up like 10 or 15 yards short of a field goal on one try. But anyways, that was a ball game going into the fourth.
Just like
Same
last
with
year's game
Oregon.
was. Last year's game was.
Right.
USF gave them everything they could handle last year.
Yeah.
Miller got benched that game last year, I believe.
Yes, he did. Right. So
Yeah.
yeah, Bama does not belong at number 4 anymore.
I've
I'm
already
sure they're
got
going
this
to
whole
drop.
football season figured out. There's like seriously 5 or 6 teams that even have a chance of winning this thing.
Okay. Lay it on me.
Well, it's to me Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, and I probably put Ole Miss and Missouri in that conversation.
Oh
That's
my.
it.
What? Hello?
That's
Oh,
it.
Oregon.
I didn't get
No.
that. You
Nah,
said,
nah, I'm
did I
not.
hear Ole Miss and
Oregon, no,
Missouri?
no thanks. No, I'm a sell. I'm a fucking sell on Oregon.
Ooh.
Okay.
Big
I
time.
got no problem with that. I watched that game today too.
Their O
Um,
line
yep,
is trash. They're nah,
yeah. They got
no,
an
same old
injury or
Oregon.
two, but
Soft,
yes,
soft
I
boys.
agree.
Hmm. So you're
I
sell.
think
So
you.
Sean, you're gonna sell on Oregon already, but you're keeping, but you're saying Missouri is in that title contender top conversation, but you're gonna sell on Oregon already. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'm not.
yeah. Missouri's played 2 games and hasn't given up
Okay.
a point. Oregon squeaked by 2 not good teams.
Hmm. Okay.
Well,
All right.
Furman and MTSU, do those count as real teams? I mean, those aren't
NTSU.
even MAC level. Those aren't those both FCS?
Yes.
And then
Correct.
Murray State and Buffalo. Yeah, I know Buffalo
It's
is
Mac.
a group of 5. So, but Murray State is not a they're not an
No.
FBS. They're FCS. So
Oregon does not look sharp.
No, but they play better teams. I'll give them that.
Better teams. They played fucking Idaho or whatever, and
Yeah,
Boise. And Boise's
yeah.
solid, no doubt.
Yeah, no, yeah. Boise State. Now we gotta give Boise State. That's a they're want to be they've been talked about as one of the party crashers to the playoffs. Um,
I think me and Joe might have picked them. I had to kick Bama out and put Boise State in,
yeah,
which I feel good
Well,
about because I feel like that loss,
yeah.
they're not losing any street cred over that loss.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of meat on that bone there. You just
Yeah.
threw out to the dogs.
Yeah.
I'm not on board with the Ole Miss pick at all.
They look. I mean, they look. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing against who they're playing. We got to. I'm not making a judgment on Ole Miss until I see them against somewhat competition. I mean, there's a lot of
Mhm.
those SEC games. I do believe the SEC is going to cannibalize itself a lot.
But right
A lot of those
now,
teams. There's going to be a lot of 2-loss teams in the SEC, a lot of 2 and 3-loss. So I don't know if anybody's going through undefeated in that conference.
would you agree or disagree that basically to me there's a top tier right now, even after week 2, and it's Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, and
Wait. Well, you said top 2 in your tier
no,
or 3?
no, there's a top tier, and it's those 3 teams. That's the top tier.
Those 3
Okay.
have
And there's
separated from the rest. I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Through
I'm.
2 weeks, or through 2 weeks,
Yeah.
it looks like.
I don't know what Michigan is though, so it's kind of hard to
oh,
gauge that Texas win.
they're not in
It's
this
a legit
conversation.
win. No,
I
Michigan's not in the
I agree with that, but I'm saying, is this a big win for Texas? I know it's on the road. I know that
Ann
you know
Arbor win by dominate them like that.
that, that's still a good
is Ann
defense,
Arbor
Joe.
a
I mean,
tough place to play though? I don't think so. What's that,
looked
Jeff?
awful. I said that is a top 10 probably defense in the country still in
Yeah,
Michigan. So it is a
And
legit
a
defense
bottom
now.
10 offense maybe.
But well,
yeah, that's the problem. There's no
I know.
middle.
I heard talking with one of my buddies, a good friend that's a Michigan fan, said we're going 7-5 this year. What the hell? Play Davis, play Jaden Davis. Just play the freshman. We're going 7-5 anyways. They've already accepted middle of the road. So play the freshman.
Okay, I got a game for you guys while we're talking about records in Michigan. Okay, so it takes 6 wins to be bowl eligible, assuming they don't have to take a bowl ban. So let's assume that they don't get any penalties before the end of the season. So I'm going to start off at 6. I'm going to start saying numbers. You tell me when to stop for
For
Michigan's
what?
wins this season, regular season. All right, I'm going to start at 6 right there. Any takers?
No.
I still
All
think
right.
they're gonna go up 6 wins.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm going to keep saying numbers.
Yeah. Yep.
You pick the number. 7 wins.
Stop.
Okay, Shawn's taking 7. Jeff, nothing.
Uh,
Holding out
I,
for a
I,
whammy.
I holding up for a whammy. But keep going.
Whammy. 8 wins.
Stop.
All right.
Stop. That's the ceiling. There is a hard ceiling, and they're pounding up against it at 8, I believe.
I was at 9 before the season started, like over the summer when they released the team win totals,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, that's about where I was at.
it came out the first time. I think it was back in the spring at 9.5. So obviously I jumped on the under big time, and then it updated a couple months later. And now it's at 8. Not now. Not. I mean, you can't bet on it now, but it was at 8.5 before the season started, and I'm going under that. So I'm thinking 7, honestly. Realistically, unless they make some drastic changes to that offense, I don't know how they
I,
win 8 games. I don't see
I
it.
don't. Well, I know, and there's going to be teams like. Are you seeing the numbers that Indiana's and Purdue's, and I mean USC's coming to town in 2 weeks. USC
Yeah.
has a complex offense. Yeah, they're in trouble. I feel 8 is the high water mark. They would really have to suck out to win 9. But I mean, they could be a 6-6 team also.
Yeah,
They could lose.
yeah.
Oh, hey, we got caught up against Iowa or Indiana or somebody that went off,
Hmm.
and that's not. Or Sparty gets a bug up their ass and beats them.
They got to
I
go
mean,
to
Well,
Washington.
they go to Washington and they got Oregon, USC, and
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Oregon could come in and spank them in their house again. Another
yeah,
in your stadium loss.
you're right, Joe. And the reason I say hard ceiling at 8, but yeah, I could see 6, but because I'm not completely sold yet on USC. USC, their defense still, they could still come in and shit the bed. I'm not. I think I'm sold on Oregon as being a top 10 team, but
Hmm.
you're right. Maybe so or Washington as well. Like all good teams, I could definitely see beating Michigan, but I'm not completely sold on them either. Whereas if Michigan can play good defense and keep that game close, make a play or two on offense, and be right there at the end. So I think a lot of those games, those three, USC, Washington, Oregon, those could be one-score games that you never know Michigan could squeak out. So that 6 to 8 win window on against teams like that, I'm not, I, those teams don't guarantee that they haven't sold me as being for sure head and shoulders above Michigan yet. So that's the only reason I say maybe 8
But what? But what?
win total.
What Big Ten team, Jeff, is like? Oh my gosh, Michigan's so much better than them. I I mean,
No,
every game for Michigan's going to be a game.
every game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. I
Minnesota, Illinois,
well,
Indiana.
Those guys
I don't.
got functional offenses.
Right. Because we can talk about now. We're talking about maybe possibly 5 wins for Michigan, which would be just great. But
Yeah.
I you know
I don't see how they could put up 21 points in a game right now.
right.
Seriously. I mean, and the defense can only do so much, right?
Yeah. Correct. Some games, but some teams that
I
just won't be able to stop the run at all. And if Michigan can run for 300
Yeah.
plus yards, and
Yeah.
that ball control possession offense force some turnovers on
their O
defense.
line's not good enough. Their O line is not good enough to do that right now.
Well,
It's taken
I,
their. I mean, they went from their best O line ever in the history of the program to a below average O line.
Hmm.
right, but I
And
mean, you're still talking about
no
Indiana,
quarterback.
Illinois, Minnesota. I mean, schools like that. You can't. I'm
Look at
not guaranteed.
look at Illinois. They only allowed 17 to Kansas this week.
That was impressive because I
Yeah.
thought Kansas was going to score a bunch on them.
They've always got a good defense under Burt, Can
And
they
Indiana
score
put
is
up
a
what, a
question.
77 spot?
Indiana did?
Yeah, against like Western Illinois or something.
Oh.
But still, it's hard to put up 77 against there.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they put up 31 on FIU,
Hey,
77 on
even those
Western.
small schools over in Illinois can play ball. Even those Huskies.
Right. So yeah, I don't know, man. These new polls just came out. Texas jumped Ohio State to number 2 in the AP.
We win. We throw a shutout.
Bama's still at 4, of course. Ole Miss 5, Missouri 6, Tennessee 7, Penn State at 8. I thought they didn't move at all.
I know
Thought
that
they
it's look at that. You've got six of the top 7 are SEC and Ohio State.
right. It'll shake itself out because you got
they're all-
Oregon at 9. Yeah.
those SEC schools, like I said, they're gonna be beating each other. Once Tennessee, Missouri, they all playing each other. Ole Miss, there's gonna be 2-3 losses with a lot of those schools.
Yeah.
But that top 10 could be, we could be looking at like week 7, week 8, and that top 10 could have one undefeated or two undefeated teams and a whole bunch of one losses already at midway. I could see that for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect from this season so far. It's nuts, man. I did not expect this weekend to be so crazy, but it turned into a pretty exciting
That's
weekend of
why I
football.
kind of shot my mouth off, like, oh my gosh, there's only a certain number of teams that can win. Because I'm like, I don't see like Notre Dame and Oregon and all these teams. They look and Michigan getting blown out, and Florida State at the beginning of the season, and it just there's not that many good football teams.
Yeah,
Thankfully, we got one of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So getting back to the Buckeye game here, we'll get back into the other national games and talk about those here. But so 56-0 Buckeyes roll over the Broncos. Spread was 38.5. I had 39-0. Shawn had 48-10. Jeff had 42-10. So
Winner,
I think
winner.
I'll take the win there.
I'll take the win.
Why?
What do you got?
Why?
39-0. I called the shutout. You guys didn't have the balls too,
Because you're
and the
desperate. You
cover.
needed that shutout. You needed that ball to bang off the pipe there.
Yeah, I'm going for 4. We
I
got
was
one.
thinking of you when a ding. I was like, oh, that's
Yep.
Joe. Like, all right,
Yep.
I'm still
Exactly.
alive. I'm
Yep.
still alive.
Yep. Then microscopes. I had Will Howard and Cody Simon. Those two had awesome days.
Yep.
Yeah, they
Shawn
did.
had Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs. They did okay. And
Yeah,
Jeff had Quinn Shawn and Sonny.
yeah, but who didn't? I mean, you could have had anybody. Like,
Right.
yeah, nice call.
Well,
Yeah.
Will Howard had almost 300 yards. Cody had a sack on his first game back.
Pass knockdown. That knockdown pass. That was nice.
Right. Yeah, that's
Being
true.
in the right position. Being in the right
Yeah.
position.
Oh, I got a actual visual cues here tonight to share with you guys. This will be fun. So check this out. Let's see. I got to make sure that everybody can see this. Yeah. Okay. So sorry about the quality, but it's a little grainy, and I can't get it over the. Oh, shit, son of a bitch. Hold up. There we go. Let's try that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So this is Jeremiah Smith catching that slant. This is when he caught it. See the 3
Uh-huh.
defenders triangulating his location. Everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Now,
Then he
this is
teleports.
a second later.
I believe I see our center waving goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh, and I have that as well. Good shit.
Yeah. Within 3 strides, he put everybody behind him.
McLaughlin.
Later, JJ. See you, buddy.
See you down there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was disgusting, man. Just
Great pass to catch him, to get him in stride like that, so he, to be able to for him to pull away like that. Caught,
for
perfect.
a DB falls down, you're done right there.
I mean, bye Chris Carter freshman records, man.
I believe so. Health not being an issue. He's blowing past every freshman receiving record for sure.
Yeah.
That kid's not bad. He's not bad at all.
Yeah, so a good day for everybody all around. Julian Sane even got in the act. Had the 55-yard touchdown pass to Bennett Christian, and
Love to see it.
Devin
Love to see
Brown, perfect. Both Devin and Julian were perfect. Julian 2 for 2, Devin 5 for 5. So we'll take that.
And I mean, Howard opened up what 11 for 11, missed his 12th or missed his 11th. I mean,
Something
he
like
was
that. Yeah. They came out
love that,
super
love
clean.
that.
That's what we expected last week, right? Against Akron.
Yep.
We expected, from the jump,
But
hit your
there were some
stride.
drop, but some of them were
Yeah,
drops, and
exactly. Yeah. JJ had the big one on the second play of the game. But
We-
it was pretty obvious there was an effort by Chip Kelly to get the ball to the running backs in the run game, and
Yes.
also involve the tight ends a lot. The tight
I
ends got a
I
ton of
think they
snaps.
listen. I think they listen to our podcast because that I can recall four tight ends targeted. I mean, you had
Yeah,
Gee Scott the first pass of the game,
Yep.
and then you had Kaz whatever, and then you had Thurman should have Jelani should have hung on to that touchdown. That was
yeah,
Yep.
you need to make that catch,
yeah.
and then yeah, Bennett Christian lay
Jelani
tight end love.
led the tight ends in snaps. He had 25. G Scott 24, Kazmarek 22, and let's see, Christian 15, Patrick Gerd the walk on 9, and Max LeBlanc the true freshman 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Gert had a catch. Nice, break tackle. Yeah. If that just may be the way the tight end's going to shape out this year. Just like a by committee. But production, yeah, productive. Um,
Yeah, I think
each
they're
you
trying
said
to
they're all
find. Yeah, I think
4 minute
they're
20.
trying to give these guys a bunch of snaps and kind of filter out top 3 maybe.
Yeah, yeah. See who emerges. Sure.
Even top 2.
Yeah, it might be by week 7, 8, 8, 9, 10. We're down to 2 guys getting 40 snaps. That might separate some more, but they're all being productive, which is good. And we'll see when we get into tougher competition and game plans and schemes and all that for matchups. But yeah, good to see that they're all seeing the field and all being productive when they're out there.
Well, and working it in five different tight ends targeted. I think last week there was zero tight end targets on any
1.
balls. Was there
There's
one?
1.
Yeah.
Kazmarek missed one off his fingertips. It
Oh,
was a good pass, but he couldn't haul it in. And the running game, I mean, is pretty sick there. I mean, Quinshawn, they were making an effort to get Quinshawn the ball. 9 carries, 108, 12-yard average to you and me.
And an 80
well,
yarder
what?
called back.
TDs. The 80-yarder
Yes,
called back. I mean, Jesus
and
Christ.
that wasn't even involved in that play. That was going.
Wait,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I said that one on the snap. I'm like, that wouldn't
Well,
even
you
have
know what?
mattered. But
I feel like that was like our podcast coming to life. We were all like, that was just what Quinshawn needed. I feel like he was
yeah.
thinking, oh fuck, I didn't start out great, and that oh, it's good. It is.
Mhm.
I hate that we have a bye week. Are we getting into that? Because I fucking hate this early bye week, and I'm really pissed about it.
oh, so
Yeah,
unneeded. Why they?
yeah. Well, at least we have another one coming up later in the season when we actually do need it, you know.
Oh,
So
is
Yeah,
there two now?
yeah,
yeah.
everybody gets 2 with the
Uh,
playoffs and shit. So
How's Marshall feel
okay.
about getting
I
us
didn't
off a
think
bye?
I didn't think we were had any more. I'm like, you're gonna give me after week two bumps, and
right,
now okay, so we got one more.
yeah. So I would
Makes
imagine
me feel a
Donovan
little
Jackson
better.
will be back after the bye. You know, made
For
sense
sure.
to keep him out. Cody looked fine coming back in, finishing the rushing stats. You got Travion 10 carries, 66 yards, 6.6 yard average, 2 touchdowns. James Peoples continuing with his 5 yard average per carry, 10 for 51 and a touch. Sam Williams Dixon got in there, 3 for 40. So everybody got in the act.
Three
Um,
for 40.
they
That's not
they
bad.
RPO'd the shit out of Western Michigan. I mean, Chip Kelly was all into the RPOs. You could see it coming, and even Will Howard had that little touchdown scamper on the
Yep.
option. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we were hitting on all cylinders. Nothing was going wrong, except for the penalties, occasionally. But one thing I did want to mention, though, I talked about this on my instant reaction this morning. Only 3 of 10 on third downs. That's not good.
No, that's at least there's something the coaches can still look at the film and still go and take to the field as far as when keeping the team sharp as far as look, we got to improve in this one area. It wasn't just well, what do we tell them they did wrong? Yeah, they look great all across the board. That the third down conversion, you're right, Joe. Is the one thing the coaches are still kind of
I don't.
they can still pull
Is
from the game,
is that weird? I mean, I wouldn't even think if you said, "Hey, Shawn, we only went 3 for 10 on third downs." I would have thought, okay, well, you didn't beat them 56-0 then. It would have been
Right.
what's the outlier? Something isn't adding up.
Yeah, I don't know. They were 2 for 2 on fourth, so that's part of it. So if you add in 5 for 12, does that sound better on third and fourth
Or
down?
no, because you
Not
don't add
really.
the number to the end, really 5 for 10.
Okay, 5 for 10, yeah, 50%.
But but
That's not great.
did we punt
Yeah, we had a punt
or
in the first half.
field goal?
Yeah, well, one in the first half, right? One.
Two. We had two in the first half. A 7-play
Hmm.
drive, 27 yards, and a punt. And then near the end of the half, 4 plays, 21 yards, and a punt. Then we started off the third quarter with a punt. That's when the starters were still in for the most part.
Yeah.
4 plays, 23 yards, and a punt. And then we had another one later on when it was 49-0. 9 plays, 16 yards. That's hard to do in 9 plays. And a punt there. And that was it.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
So again, that's the outlier. That's the information I was looking for. So late in the game, when we were basically sitting on the run and not trying to push anything, like 3 of those drives were those punts. So now, basically, like in real football, we were 5 of 7 on third down, which makes a little bit more sense to me.
Okay, yeah.
Because
I'll
the
buy that.
last 3, okay,
I
whatever.
see. Yeah, I see the math there. You're right.
Mm.
We're being gracious, the benevolent
Yeah,
Buckeyes.
that's true. Yeah. This is not a one-sided show at all. So, yeah. What else here? Defense. I mean, everybody had a good day. I mean, nobody had that one big highlight day like a JT against Penn State or something, but everybody, I mean, Jack got a sack, Cody got a sack. You had some TFLs in there. You had Tyleek and Ty Hamilton splitting
I
a
was gonna say,
sack.
I thought the interior D line played great.
Yeah.
Pressures, a lot of just moving the pocket, controlling. Cade McDonald had to knock down pass from the interior.
He looked really good. Yeah. Made
Yeah.
some plays.
Um,
Why does he wear such small shoulder pads? It's like he's not even wearing shoulder pads. He just looks
because
like
he's
he's wearing a jersey.
335 pounds.
Because you don't have any like high velocity impact. It's all close.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you're
but
335 pounds.
his body looks like he does not have shoulder pads on.
It's just more for people to grab. It's, a lot of D linemen are
Right. Yeah.
they're really
Grab
small
those pads.
because they're fucking mountains of people. They're mountains of a human.
Yeah.
They don't, but yeah, I think the D line and overall. I mean, we played like we should have been. That's how we should have looked. Just dominating the line of scrimmage.
Well,
Pushing the
again,
pocket.
when their best player on the O line, their center, went down,
It's
it
like
was
first play, I
like
think. First or second play.
Yeah.
it was like, okay, let's feast, boys, and that's what it was. I mean, they got over half their yards on that one drive in the first quarter.
Right.
And then, like you said, there wasn't a ton of tackles for loss. There wasn't a ton of sacks, but like the plays never went for anything. Like
Right.
everything.
Yeah, we held him to just under 100 yards, 99 total.
Yeah. So we're not getting a tackle for loss, but they're getting 1.5 yards on the running back people to
He's
fall.
just playing like
Right,
solid
there's
defense.
nothing. Yeah, nothing's there.
Yeah, Denzel Burke was making big hits. Jordan Hancock coming up making big hits.
Getting kicked out of the game.
Yeah,
That was is that? I mean, when are we going to talk about that? Because that's some. I just rewatched that. That was shit, man. I mean,
that's
Oh yeah.
football. That is a football play. That's not targeting.
I don't
That's,
understand how the second guy in can get a targeting. You know,
uh,
that doesn't make sense at all.
and it wasn't malicious, and it wasn't. And
it's not defenseless. I mean,
oh
the
my,
running back put his head down. I mean, like it's football. Football. That they're going towards the sideline. The running back's coming. He knows contact's coming. He lowers his shoulder. Head drops. DBs lower their shoulder. Head drops. That's just football, man. It's you can't that can't be taken out of the game.
What bothers me these after watching all these games this weekend, and they get like the refs on the field are not calling the targeting. They're getting buzzed down from a booth somewhere,
Yep.
whether it's in Chicago or in Birmingham or somebody upstairs in the press box. Somebody's buzzing down to them and saying, "Hey, take another look at this. We're looking for targeting. You're looking
Yeah.
for it." So it's like, why? Why are you trying to create more of a problem with this? I don't understand it. I mean, there is another side to this. I will go on the other side and say these players are not changing their habits, right? I mean, the rule is there to take the targeting, the helmet, the head-to-head, mostly head-to-head conflict out of the equation, and the players are still fucking doing it like on a daily basis.
It's and
it's
the rule has gotten away from the rule. Like the rules, like the rules put
because
in originally was for the defenseless like, type of receiver type play where
Mhm.
where you're just coming in and you kind of like using the crown and you're spearing a guy that's
Right.
defenseless. That's that's where the genesis of the rule came from. Not a running back coming towards the sideline, but the DB's got the angle. There's going to be contact. If your head's lowered, that's human nature. If one, uh, you got low man wins. You got to get low, and sometimes when you trying to get your shoulder in there, your head dips down when your shoulder does. Uh,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? It's not that's not that call in particular is not the where that rule was. That's not what that rule was generated for. You know what I mean?
Sure. And what about that play? You see the one where Jordan Hancock lowered his helmet and the running back lowered his helmet. They went head to head,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
and it was a big collision,
big
and
collision.
they both went down.
Yeah.
Okay, why is this flag only on the defense? Right.
Right.
Yep. Same
I
thing. That's
mean,
why. That's
the
seeing
the
that
running
play. Then
back's using his helmet as a weapon. Is he not? You know, I don't get it. I I don't know, man. I don't understand what they want, like, because every game seems different, every group of referees seems different, and then when you got some asshole sitting in an office buzzing the referee in the middle of the game telling him to stop the game, go look at the tape, it's like, oh, what are we doing here? You know, are we just trying to make a problem where maybe there isn't one?
Well, I think the problem you get into is, that it's a rule and the rule's kind of vague, and they're like, well, by
Sure.
the letter of the laws, is it this or that? And there needs to be some discretion in it. There was no
It's
like, oh,
subjective.
I'm trying to fucking, target this helpless guy. It's like I'm coming in here fast trying to make a play.
Yeah.
There's no, uh, nothing dirty happened in that play.
Right. Yeah, and then I see these head-to-head collisions like the Hancock one. I see them all the time
Hmm.
with safeties and running backs. When a running back gets to the second level, and a free safety's coming up, and they meet head-to-head, no penalty
The
on
prob
that.
well, here's the problem when you're a guy in the secondary. If you want to be stud in college football in the secondary, that's how you have to play. You have to come up and be an absolute beast and lower your head and make those things. And guess what? Every once in a while, when that guy lowers his head while yours is like in the same, it's like, oh, you targeted him. It's like, yeah, they're in a tough spot there, I feel.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
oh, yeah.
definitely. That's the problem. Again, why is it only a penalty on the defense? I don't understand this.
And this and as we maybe as the season develops and keeps going, that may level itself back out. Sometimes you see they try to they try to you know enforce rules
Yeah.
in certain calls
Try
a
and
certain
set a
way, and
tone.
then
Yeah,
yes, and then it may level itself back out where
I get it.
we might start seeing less of that. Like you said, Joe, that calling down
Maybe.
from above to hey review the play.
Yeah.
Um, that may just kind of work itself out too as the season goes on.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's continue talking about the team here. I did want to talk about the defense and these linebackers. It looks to me like Arvell Reese has taken over C.J. Hicks' job.
I saw him out there a lot early, and I noticed that same thing.
Arvell had 23 snaps. C.J. just 12. Um, yeah. Sonny had
What if
39. Let's see. Where is Cody Simon? Cody Simon had 31. So, and you got a couple of garbage snaps for Peyton Pierce and Gabe Powers.
and Powers look good? I saw
Yeah,
Powers,
yeah,
looking good out there too. I mean, I like our depth, for sure.
yeah, yeah. So I think you got to use C.J. Hicks just strictly as a pass rusher if you want to bring him in on third and long, whatever. I think that's all he's good at. I mean, did you see the quarterback carry him for 3 or 4 yards? It's not a good look, man.
I didn't really, but
He's not good in coverage. Yeah, this has not changed in 3 years, man. So
hmm.
yeah, it's unfortunate. Everybody wants to see him play, but I think people are finally understanding that he's not good enough. He's a
You're not
he's a
consistent enough. You're right.
liability out there, honestly. When you got Sonny Styles, Cody Simon, Arvell Reese, these guys are better.
It looks like from the practice field, they're day to day practices. Those guys are probably more consistent, less less mental breakdowns, and just being in the right spot, knowing where to be, and making the play when they're there.
Yeah,
And but
yeah.
he
But
does
I think
he does provide good depth.
there
So
is a role for him as a blitzer, strictly go get the quarterback. That's it. On certain downs, he's not going to play 3 downs or something like that. But so that's about it on defense. Unless you guys got anything else.
No, just I
no,
thought it was just a total team defensive game. Like
yeah,
nobody, you didn't need that, Micah Parsons, one dude takes over a game. Like
Yeah,
everybody played solid as shit.
yeah, and that's what you call a good team defense.
yeah, yeah. No big breakdowns, no big mental errors or bad technique or taking a bad
Mm,
route to the ball carrier that gave up a big play.
yeah.
Everybody's just sound defense. Um, looks the way we're supposed to look against them. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the longest play was 19 yards to that Zambuki guy,
yeah.
Zambuca.
Zambuca. Yeah,
Henry, you a Zambuca guy? You like that licorice
Nah,
shit?
I don't mess with that stuff.
No, man, that's gross. Yeah. So Zambuca had the big play of the day. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty quiet. So unless you guys got anything else you want to talk about here, we're going to move on to some of these other national games. I think we got to talk a little bit more in depth about the cheaters in that game. I'd like to get your thoughts. What you thought about our guy, former Buckeye Quinn Ewers. Did he impress?
yeah.
Jeff, go ahead.
Uh, yeah. That game kind of went how I thought it would.
Mhm.
Texas Texas makes you defend every corner of the field. They got athletes. Ewers is a top quarterback in the country. Um, I think he's got he can distribute the ball to all around the field, and like they had the cheaters on the ropes. I didn't think they would be able to move the ball on offense, and a bunch of three and outs against a team like Texas. That game kind of went how I thought it would. Eventually, that defense is going to give up big plays because 1 through 11, Texas is going to make you have all 1 through 11 playing at your best to cover them, and Michigan does not have it.
Definitely. Yeah. Shawn, what do you think about the way Texas attacked those big D tackles down in the middle for the cheaters?
I thought it was just a really good game plan by Texas and Sarkisian, and I think if you looked at the first half, I think the time of possession, ended up being like almost like 21 minutes to 9 minutes. Texas over Michigan in the half, and it leveled out in the second half. But you
Mm.
had on one of those early touchdowns, I think Graham and Grant were both off the field. And I mean, they were gassed. They were on the field, and yeah, I still think they have a top defense, but they can't play forever,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if
And
you
so
can
depth is a
sustain
problem.
well, and their offense is so putrid.
Yeah.
Ewers did great. He's cool as a cucumber. He's good. He's got a bunch of good players around him. He's got a great O line. I don't know how he is at the deep stuff that much exactly, but intermediate stuff and being calm and cool, he's a stud, no doubt about it. Um, I want to say their defense is solid, but I don't know if their D's that good. Or Michigan just looks awful on offense,
Yeah. I'm not
awful.
convinced
Yeah,
about that
yeah,
defense.
and
No.
yeah. Well, and no, nobody can be because of what they did against Michigan. Michigan's offense is not going to give anybody any kind of information about the team's defense they're playing, because I think every defense is going to look pretty good against that. Um, but I think that's going to be the story of Michigan most of this year. Offense struggles, puts the defense in bad spots consistently. Defense ends up giving up too much, more points and yards than they probably should or have to. Um, yeah, we're not sold on Texas defense yet, but we will. I mean, we'll see. We'll see them when they get in the SEC.
But
How
but
they can stop the run.
you had Sark calling a great game plan with those D tackles. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
risk right there, right? And you're doing everything to the outside, get those big boys running, and tire them
Mhm.
out. And if you can sustain a drive, Michigan's in trouble because without those D tackles,
Yeah.
that defense ain't that good. It
Yeah,
really
they
isn't.
attacked the edges when Graham and Grant were in there, but
Yeah.
when they were out and the backup D tackles were in there, they went right at them, ran the ball
Yep.
right down
Hammer
their
it.
throats with success. So that tells me that obviously Michigan does not have depth along the D line.
Sure.
You know, so that's the game plan. It looks like Texas pretty much set the blueprint for everybody else in the country that has Michigan on their schedule, right? I
I
mean,
I, I mean I,
that
I
would be
like
my
you. I
game plan.
like USC. I like USC in
Yeah,
Ann Arbor in 2 weeks.
yeah. I don't know if they can run the ball, but yeah,
The one
I
thing,
don't.
well, that's what Joe. One thing about yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I don't think USC can. Well, I don't think USC has the. They don't have the offensive personnel. I think to be able to switch up and run the ball like the Texas can, along with the passing game. So that'll be what tells it. Can USC run between the tackles when those guys are off the field? They can attack them on the edge the same way, sure. But can a team like USC or Washington can they do what Texas can do both ways?
Hmm. And
And
if you
and
look at
and,
the
and
rushing stats, the Texas outside of that one long run by Wingo, the big 55-yarder on the was it a jet sweep? If you take that off the board, they ran for under 100 yards. But it was the timing and when they ran that
Hmm.
was really the difference maker because Ewers only threw for 246. It's not like he lit up the scoreboard here with 350 or something. He did have the three touchdowns, but they that tight end Helm really worked him over pretty good. He was kind of a go-to guy. Bond did well, and the running backs out of the backfield. I think they might have done more damage in the passing game. Honestly,
Yeah.
especially Blue. He had 6 catches for 37.
Blue, you're
And,
my boy.
yeah, so I think this Michigan team is really screwed until they figure out how to put points on the board. And I'm not saying 35 points a game. I'm saying figure out how to put 20 on the board first. Baby steps this shit.
Yeah.
And once again, Shawn, your guy Deadwards shows up in a big game. Oh, Shawn fell off.
Dead air.
Damn it. 8 carries, 41 yards. That's a 5.1 yard average, Jeff. But that's it. No touchdowns. And again, just 41 yards. Did have a catch for 2 yards. So
I,
there's that.
oh, I missed it. Yeah, I mean, they don't have where's their where's Michigan's where is their air attack? I mean, do they have a go-to receiver? We don't know. I don't know if they
Well,
do or not. It doesn't look like it because
Loveland's the only thing they got.
yeah. I mean, yeah. And eventually, if your tight end is your only weapon, they're easy to defend. I mean, you can get a lot of catches for 4 yards as a tight end. You can get 20 catches for 4 yards a pop, but that's not going to win you a game. That's not moving the ball. You got to be able to get somebody to at least, kind of loosen them those DBs. You got to if you don't have anybody that can push and take the top off, it's just that front seven. It gets more compact, more at the line,
Yeah.
and then you're looking at Edwards for what'd you say, 8 carries for 40 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, if you can hold a tailback to 8 carries for 40 yards all day long, a defense will take that. And you're right. Michigan, they're going to have to, just like this, if your quarterback cannot push the ball down the field, you're going to end up fighting against those 8-man boxes, and your running back's going to look like 8 carries for 40 yards.
Yeah. Looks
But
like we got
yeah,
Shawn back here.
do they go? They take a couple.
I want to get Shawn to chime
Sean?
in on his guy Deadwards.
Yeah.
8 carries, 41
Hello?
yards, Henry. You got
Dead
us?
air.
Oh, he's muted.
Just playing a role. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. Michigan's in trouble, Joe. Against any type of offense that can put up points,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
going to see a
Matt.
lot of this,
Sorry.
I think.
Yeah.
There he is.
All right.
Yeah.
Henry, I wanted to get your 2 cents on Deadwards and that Michigan running game.
I don't know. I mean, I almost feel like he's super frustrated and a little bit.
Can imagine he is.
I don't know, but I was reading some stuff. I don't know if I said this last week, but then I kind of thinking back and I saw some plays, and they're like, Edwards is not going to be the replacement for Corum. Edwards is not going to run it between the tackles, and
Right.
and they're saying Edwards obviously has world class speed, but he has zero vision. You even look at touchdown runs from Ohio State and Washington. He runs
Mhm.
into the back of his O line, and then he pops it outside where no one's
Yeah.
at and outruns everyone. But he
Yeah.
doesn't have great vision. Um, being a running back that's going to run between the tackles, and I mean, I would use Donovan Edwards where I give him 6 carries and 6 targets in the passing game is kind of one of these types of guys. I don't know if they're forcing it and using him wrong. But I mean, 5 yards a carry. It's a heck of. I mean, what was he? He was 2.2 last week against
Yeah.
Bums.
I would go with Mullings, honestly. I would give him more
Well, to
more
me, he
snaps.
should be the bell cow. I can't believe
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, and he only got 6. They only
Yeah.
ran it 22 times. Michigan
Yeah.
ran the ball 22 times.
Right. And
This
threw it
isn't
22.
this isn't your Harbaugh's Michigan.
No, not at all. And Jeff fell off. Okay.
Because they don't have the old line to do it now.
Yeah. Exactly. But still, they're kind of giving up on it at times, it seems. And Davis Warren, I mean, it doesn't help your team when you got 3 turnovers. Loveland had the fumble. You got, just
The unassisted fumble.
yeah, exactly, and the 2 ints. So
I
yeah,
feel like they ought to go with that Jaden Day, that freshman that they like. It's like, look, your offense is trash. You might as well.
right.
But I wonder if they're protecting him. Like, well, we would put him in there, but this O line, it will get the poor boy killed.
That's
So
true.
we might as well just sacrifice Davis Warren. Maybe we'll get him in halfway through the season. But
Yeah.
let this O line get a little bit better.
Yeah, maybe they want to use him up against some of these better teams and then bring in Jaden Davis. Who knows? But all right. Anything else on the cheaters you want to cover?
Just that I they got smacked down. You read their message boards; they're all
Yeah,
ready to hang themselves.
yeah,
They're completely depressed, and they're recruiting classes. And I love it. I love it. And I actually thought they'd probably still be a fringe playoff team. That off, I don't. I think the defense can do better, and they got some dudes. I don't know how you're going to fix that offense.
yeah,
They don't have receivers. They don't have an O line. They don't have a quarterback. They do got a couple good running backs and a tight end, and that's it.
yeah. Yeah, it all starts up front, especially with their offense. I mean, unless you're going to change the entire philosophy of your offense, you're kind of screwed here.
Well, and I'm not a big. I mean, Sharon Moore's up there coaching without a contract. He's gonna. I told you, you actually had
Yeah,
a poll probably a month ago. Who's going to get fired? And I said Sharon Moore, and he wasn't even on your list. And he will. He'll
right.
be a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah. The way it's starting off, I wouldn't be a bit surprised. And who knows when the NCAA might release their NOA.
I think Michigan would love to see him. Like Michigan probably wants to hurry the NCAA now. Like, all right,
Yeah,
we suck. Hammer us right now.
we'll take a self-imposed bowl ban.
Yeah, right. Hammer us right now so we don't have to deal with the shit and we can get it over with.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into some of these comments. We got quite a few built up here. So got Odysseus, the first man in. OHIO to you, Odysseus. Billy says IO. Odysseus says, did you notice how the cheater defenders were suddenly a step slower on Saturday, reading and reacting to the Texas plays? Yes, that's an excellent point. They were very, very much slower.
What are you getting at there? Like they didn't have the signs and that up front.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Texas is a faster team than Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, not for outside of a couple players.
They use tempo really well, too. Like Sark said before the game that they wanted to tire out those D tackles, and they did.
Right.
Billy says Howard looking perfect for the Buckeyes in play and attitude. I agree. He's definitely bringing that leadership
Yep.
and great decision making on the field too. Odysseus says dominant defensive performance by the Bucks on Saturday. 0 first downs in the second half. We'll take that all day long. Also, Odysseus says less than 100 yards given up, most on WMU second possession. Yeah, that one drive they had. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Billy says, I take Bama over whiskey because TVD ain't him. No. Tyler Van Dyke is definitely not him or her. And I just think 15's a bit much. I don't know. I don't know what to take from this Wisconsin team. Maybe they do suck. I don't know. Western Michigan, like we talked about, gave them a ball game last week. I don't know.
And again, gave them their best ball game, and that was like their thing.
Yeah.
Again, because that would have been the upset and a huge win for Western.
Yeah, I guess I was expecting Wisconsin to be better this year, like substantially.
But is Bama that good? I mean, Bama was in a game and then they threw up 28
Yeah,
points in the fourth quarter. I mean, and
yeah.
going to Camp Randall?
No, I'm not sold on Bama either. I was talking about that to start the show, honestly, because I just finished watching that USF Bama game, and they're trash.
It's Milrow, right?
Yeah, Milrow cannot throw the ball. USF's quarterback could not throw the ball. It was a battle of two running quarterbacks. That was it. You know, it was a tough watch. A lot of penalties, constant pass interference calls up and down the field. The quarterbacks were just chucking it deep and letting the DBs grab a hold of their receivers. You know,
But
uh,
how trash is Wisconsin though? We just beat the team that gave them all they wanted, 56
I
nothing
know.
and under 100 yards.
Yeah, and then they played South Dakota this week. They allowed 13 points to South Dakota. Yeah, so I don't know what we're getting with Wisconsin,
South
man.
Dakota, those kind of like one of those, higher ranked. Those North Dakota and South Dakota are legit kind of schools.
Yeah,
They can. They're well coached and have some decent kids where they can hang. They'll hang with you for a little bit, and then you'll blow them out. But
yeah.
what was the
That's what it
final on
just.
that one?
It was 27-13. Yeah,
Oh, that's it.
yeah.
Uh,
Basically a mirror image of their Western Michigan game, 28-14. Just a
yeah, but
point
they were
off.
actually down in the fourth quarter against
Right,
Western.
right. I don't know about that South Dakota game. Let's see. It was 17-3 at the half, Wisconsin. Then South Dakota scored 10 in the third. So at one point it was 17-13. Wisconsin kicked a field goal. So 20 to 13. And then Wisconsin scored a touchdown in the fourth. So Odysseus says, I'm taking Bama. Whiskey only beat South Dakota by 14. Yeah. I just on talent alone, I think Bama can probably cover the 15. It's a shitty number. I don't like that number. If it were 14 or if you can tease it down, I'd go that route. I don't feel great about 15, you know.
Bama's gonna cover that shit easy.
Probably. I mean, they got 4 and 5 stars up and down the lineup there. I know it, but yeah, we'll see. Billy says, good point, Odysseus. Odysseus says, don't get me started on targeting Joe, otherwise known as the anti-Buckeye rule. Yeah, we
I
never come out
swear to God,
on the
you're
bright
so,
side of that, do we? We always get hosed, totally.
always.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Big game, regular season game, doesn't matter. We're getting screwed. When they go to the tape, it's just a middle finger to Ohio State. But yeah, Billy says if Notre Dame has 2 losses with one to NIU, they shouldn't get in. I agree they shouldn't, but they don't have to play in a conference championship game. So that's in essence a bye.
Well, the other thing that favors Bama on this is I'm looking up right now. Next Saturday in Camp Randall, it's going to be 76 degrees. It's going to be a
Hmm.
beautiful
Oh,
day. And
yeah,
absolutely, it isn't going to be November Camp Randall. You know,
yeah. That's not good. Somebody needs to crank up the snow machine.
I mean, I'm loving it that these teams are coming. That you had Texas coming to the big house,
Hmm.
and you're going to have Bama coming up here. I love these games, and I don't know. I guess it's fair for everyone when it's easy climate, but I'd love to see Bama or Georgia come up and play Wisconsin November
Hmm.
15th.
Yeah, sure. So Michigan dropped down to 17th in the AP poll and Notre Dame 18th.
And they're still the two most overrated schools ever in the history of
Yeah.
college football.
Well, you still got Clemson there at 22. I mean, still, but yeah.
Well, I'll give Clemson. I mean, Clemson got beat by a juggernaut.
Mhm.
Notre
But yeah,
Dame.
I think Notre Dame still gets in though with 2 losses.
Oh yeah,
We'll
I
see.
agree.
It depends on the rest of the how the landscape fills out. But you're going to have 2 loss teams getting in, and Notre Dame is one of those teams that gets eyeballs to TV
Yeah,
sets.
well, I mean, Notre Dame gets in guaranteed with two losses. The thing is, since Notre Dame's not in a conference, they don't get in with three. Where Ohio State,
No.
or some of
Yeah.
these other teams could get in with 3. Notre Dame doesn't have a chance with 3 losses,
Right. And
especially
resume has to
especially with that
matter.
being a loss.
Yeah, exactly. Resume has to matter at some point. Let's see. Odysseus says, after Saturday, I don't want to hear any more talk of fire Ryan Day or hire Fickle or Freeman. No, I agree. Those
No,
are
we're
not the
hiring
answers.
Vrabel.
Well, I don't know if that's the answer either. I don't think he wants to be involved in college football at all. He's shown zero interest, and I don't think he wants to be on the road recruiting,
I
telling
can't
16-year-olds that he loves them. I don't think
I
that's
can't
his
blame
bag.
him.
No, I wouldn't do it either. Billy says, has any team that has lost to a G5 ever made the playoffs? Ooh, that's a good question. I can't think of one off the top of my head. That seems impossible in the 4-team, right? In
Yeah,
a 4-team playoff, that seems like just a, auto out.
right.
Yeah. Now I think you're going to see it. Or it's going to be put to the test here in this 12-teamer going forward. So Notre Dame could be the first. Why not?
They're definitely
Uh,
going to be again because the rest, and again, they're overrated. But I'm not so sure because I don't see 12 good teams. I see like 6 to 7 good teams from what I've seen so far, and maybe people will get better and teams will come on, but I
I
don't see
think,
12 good teams right now.
yeah, I think Michigan and Notre Dame being 17 and 18 is probably accurate. I think they're better than Louisville, Arizona, Iowa State, but I don't think they're as good as K State, Oklahoma State, Utah, USC, even Miami. Definitely not so far. Now, it's only week 2. Things can change, but so far, those 2 teams, Notre Dame and Michigan, I have no problem with them being down there and at the end of the top 20.
Yeah, but what makes you even think that Michigan should even be there? I mean, Michigan could fall apart and be 4-8.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they just have to get there. They have to play it out and get there, right? I mean, uh, from the way it looks, they will be their own undoing. You know, they could fall out of the top 25. That wouldn't break my heart. It's very possible too. So, Jeff, we had a good question from Billy. He said, "Has any team that has lost to a group of 5 ever made the playoffs?" I don't think so in the 4-teamer, but we were talking about Notre Dame being possibly the first team to make it into the 12-team playoff after losing to a G5. I
Jeff
can't hear
there?
you. He's connected. Can't hear you.
You on mute, Jeff?
No, not on my end. Anyway, Billy
I
says
think you're
certainly
definitely
not.
going to see that though, Joe,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. That
because
has to happen
because
eventually.
well, because I feel like the group of 5 team that gets in is going to have a good win along the way against a good team, and that might be their signature win that gets them in. Like if Boise would have beat Oregon today
Yeah,
or yesterday, rather. But
right. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I don't want Marcus Freeman right now. None of these um, none of these former Buckeye players or coaches are good enough in my book right now. No way. Uh, Buckeye Dog 22. Joe, go Bucks. Go Bucks. Buckeye Dog. Uh, Odysseus says, if Whiskey had an offense, maybe they'd have a shot. Too bad they're Iowa-esque. They are very much like an Iowa. Yep, I agree. Rightful One. We got some new visitors to the show tonight. I like it.
Let's go.
Rightful One says Wisconsin to cover, Bama to win. Okay, taking the 15 points. I like that. That's kind of the way I'm leaning, honestly. If I had to put some shekels down right now today. Billy says a real QB would help Wisconsin. Exactly. That was Miami's issue with TVD.
I feel like Wisconsin has a sub-Wisconsin line. Like it's not the line
Yeah.
that you're used to.
Yeah, I think they're hurting on both sides of the ball. Definitely. Jeff, I can hear you.
Jeff, you in there?
We can hear you. Buckeye Dog 22 says Alabama 48-24 over Wisconsin. So definitely a cover there. Odysseus says Milrow versus TVD. Who's worse? It's a good one. Ooh, I don't know, man.
I think I'm going with Odysseus. The more I think about this, and you just said Milrow. I'm like, Milrow's a bum. I like a Bama to win. I'll take the points with whiskey though.
Okay, I like that. So where do you go? TVD versus Milrow.
What's that?
Tyler Van Dyke versus Jalen Milrow. Who's worse?
They're both differently worse. I mean,
Yeah, they are very different and very worse in different ways. I would say their numbers.
That's why I could see a bunch of stupid things, and I think Alabama won't be in question. But Milrow could fumble and throw up some picks. Of course, Van Dyke will help him out and throw a few himself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, these guys, their numbers are not very different from each other. I mean, they're both around 200 yards a game passing. What do we got here? One TD. Milrow at least has 5 TDs passing on the season. Or, yeah, that's passing. So, yeah, he's slightly better, but he has better receivers.
And he has 4 running touchdowns.
Right. So, I think TVD's worse, honestly.
Yeah, but in Camp Randall, this is a big game. You got to keep it competitive.
Here's a good one, Shawn.
What?
Rightful One says, wouldn't it be funny if Orgy starts for the cheaters and they play Bama in a bowl? Everyone in the stadium would need a helmet. That's true. That was funny to me. Billy says, I watched Northwestern and Duke Friday, wanted to gouge my eyes out. That makes one of you. You were the one, Billy.
I know. I was hoping. I mean, I didn't watch that game, but I saw the score, and I was actually even surprised Northwestern was in it. I mean, isn't Northwestern just absolute garbage?
Yeah, very much. Odysseus says Orgy is a dollar store Milrow. Exactly.
I think Orgy could be the next Debo Samuel, but a quarterback, nah.
Yeah. Billy says Oregon had 2 return TDs and only won by 3. I saw that. I know it, man. They had a kick return and a punt return. And I was like, well, they're going to win this one because their defense is not intimidating to me.
It's not. They're not that good. You need 2 special teams touchdowns to win in a last-second field goal or a late field goal to beat Boise.
Yeah.
That's fine, and that shit happens, but not coming off when you were in a game with Idaho the week before.
Exactly. No. And the quarterback's going off. Gabriel's doing, what he should. He almost threw for 400 last week. right? So he's doing his part. I think their defense is a big problem. They do have some injuries on the O line, but I don't know. They do not worry me in the slightest. Hopefully, they can get their shit together when they play the Cheaters. So we'll see. Rightful One says Oregon looks like they've been listening to the hype. I think they have.
I'm telling you,
But
USC is going to be the toughest team in the new Big Ten West.
mhm. By the way, Dylan Gabriel to start the season was the favorite to win the Heisman. Now he is seventh at plus 1,200.
Where's Howard? Moving up?
Uh, he is, yeah, he moved up a bit, but he's still ninth. So moving up a little, plus 1,800 there. Odysseus says Lanning is just another prime. Interesting take there. I'd say he's trying to build a more sustainable program than Prime is. Prime is going to be gone. He's going to hit the road after this year. I do not buy that Lanning is trying to build an SEC program there because they don't have it in the trenches. They do not have it, especially on offensive line. And they don't have the defense. So maybe he's just way behind. But it's an interesting take that he's just another prime. We'll see. We'll see if he's just a flash in the pan.
No,
Sage,
Prime's like running like colleges like South Florida Express, trying to
mm,
recruit and get some kids here and trying to quick hit and get some championships.
right.
Yeah, not to
I,
build a program.
I don't even think he's trying to win championships. I think he's just trying to have a product that the
Gets him to the next stop.
that just makes money in the meantime, and you know he'll move on, they'll move on, and maybe they can get somebody where they're winning more than 6 games a year. He's just kind of a stopgap, to get some eyeballs on the program, and then maybe the donors will kick in some money. But Sage says hello, Buckeyes. Hello, Sage. Billy says that's harsh. I think he's talking about Lanning as a prime. It's kind of funny though. Yeah, Rightful One says funny thing is he hates prime. Exactly. What's up, Sage? Sage says enjoying a good chat. Good.
There you go.
Rightful One says the same. What a Saturday. Buckeyes with the shutout. Team up north gets blown out. Went to bed with a smile. It's a good day. Sage has 8 for the Michigan win total. Badass Buckeye. What's up, Bab? Bab has 9 for the Cheaters.
9?
High. That's the high number for the night.
That is
Yep.
that is like, if everything goes right for them, I feel like they could win 9. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's way in the little bottom of the bell curve out there. 9
Yeah.
in my.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's too many people taking 9 anymore. Jeff.
Hey Jeff, you there?
Anyway, we got to get through the rest of this chat in 5 minutes. Rifle One says, I used to think they could win 10, but that defense is an FCS, or that offense is an FCS offense. They can't win more than 8. Another vote for 8. Badass Buckeye says they still play a lot of cupcakes, so 8 wins is a given.
But
Nice.
Sparty, or like, I think they have a stretch. Is it Sparty in Indiana? I think I got them coming out of Sparty, Indiana, back to back, 1-1. I mean,
Oh, jeez. Nice. Oh, man.
That's squash
I can't
between
argue with it.
USC's
I can't
and
argue with it.
Washington's, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how they're gonna throw some picks. They're gonna make some real bad. I mean, they're in
Yeah.
trouble. And if they start losing the team, be big trouble.
Yeah. Continuing on, Sage says that Indiana will be lucky to score 77 points the rest of the season. Badass Buckeye says Oregon is pretty bad, maybe worse than Michigan. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
At
I'm
least
not.
they have some kind of offense.
And they've got more players.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah, definitely. So
they
Odysseus says
emptied the
I.
cupboards last year at Michigan.
Mhm. Odysseus says I called 7-5 preseason. You don't change 10 coaches and don't miss a beat. Exactly. I agree 100% there.
Well, here's the
Odysseus
one
says,
thing that
and the
that I read
schedule
on
is
the
tougher.
boards about
Hmm.
them. The schedule is tougher, but they're like the only thing that we've got right now is the two D tackles, the cornerback, and the
Yeah,
tight end,
right.
Loveland, and like they're all going pro next year. Like who
Yeah,
is on this team next year? Like we got fucking
yeah,
nobody. Like no,
right.
there's no. I mean, nobody that's like, oh wow, this. I mean, that's really middle of the road.
Yeah,
They're in trouble. I love it.
it is awesome. Uh, Billy says if Childs at Sparty ever gets his decision making right, he'll have a high ceiling. I agree. But yeah, uh, I'm not sure about his accuracy, but he does have a high ceiling. He's got
Oh,
some talent.
by the way, did you see who they're airing it out to? That Nick Marsh that we played last year,
Mm,
in my kid's high school,
yeah.
and I think I said it on here. I've been a bunch and watched a bunch of good high school football players, including the kid that went to UCLA. We played them or whatever. That Nick Marsh is the best kid that I've seen live in high school, and it's not close.
Mm,
He was a different animal, and he's already producing as a true freshman for Sparty. Um, so maybe once he realizes he's on a shit team, maybe he'll transfer to Ohio State. But I don't. But you got to wait behind Tate and Ennis, and
mhm.
a couple other dudes we got over there. If you haven't heard,
Yeah. Sage says Nebraska's turned out to be maybe a big game. I agree. That could be a big one.
oh yeah,
Hmm.
what was the final of that game? Nebraska, Colorado.
Oh, they blew him out.
Was it an absolute?
Yeah.
I
I
knew they
had to
went up a
score.
couple scores early, two or three scores early.
Hmm. It was. Where is that game?
I don't know why I can't talk on the thing. The
We
fuck?
Hey,
can't
there you
hear you.
go.
He can't hear us. He can talk. He just can't hear us.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to, I have to look for that while we're talking. We got to get off here in 2 minutes, anyways. Um, Billy says the Illini has a good D. Yeah, exactly. Odysseus says even if they had Hairball and the whole coaching staff coming back, they'd be looking at a ceiling of 10-2 with the loss of so many players
That
combined with
would be
tough
the
schedule.
ceiling.
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah,
That would be the ceiling.
yeah. Billy says, meanwhile, Peoples has a higher yards per carry and TDs than Edwards. That's right. The true freshman, James Peoples.
I like him. I mean, is everyone super excited? I mean, I love Quinshawn and Trey, but
Hmm.
oh, I like the way this kid. He looks just quick and boom. He's
Yeah,
gonna be a problem. I'm happy to see that guy.
yeah,
Real quick too. I know we're gonna go, but and I
yeah.
know it's we got a bye week coming up. But did you guys all see that catch of the week? That kid from Marshall. Holy! Did you
No,
see that catch?
no.
Oh my! Go
I
look
have to
at
go look it
that.
up. I'll have to check it
Yeah,
out.
catch of the week. They're like, did Randy Moss get back on the field for Marshall? It's
Nice,
ridiculous catch.
nice.
Yeah.
I'll go check that out. All right, folks. I think we're going to call it a night right there. 9 o'clock on the dot. Appreciate everybody joining us. And make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like button on the way out the door. And we appreciate everybody. We will be back Friday at 4:30 Eastern. with our Buckeye Rush Hour. And then, of course, next Sunday, we'll get you set up for week 3. Well, game 3. I guess it's week 4, technically. So, Jeff and Shawn, appreciate you.
Good.
All right. Just in time for the end. All right. Talk to you guys later.